Hey guys, so today we're going to do a topic that I've been wanting to do since I started this, and that is my favorite horror comedy movies. And to me, comedy and horror blend so well together that it's perfect to craft a movie based on these two genres. So with all being said, let's begin. So, starting our countdown, we're starting with a movie from one of my favorite and truly underrated horror directors, and this is Christopher Landon. And I was debating if I would put this movie instead of Happy Death Day or Scout's Guide to Zombie Apocalypse. But since I love these three movies equally from the same director, I think I had a blast and a more fun time with Freaky. The idea of mixing the very innocent film Freaky Friday that everyone has seen with a slasher premise was very smart and effective, since all we need are two protagonists who can portray each other perfectly, clever humor, and a whole lot of blood, gore, and gruesome kills. This film did all of that, since after our two main characters switch up, we are introduced to the most Gen Z humor I've ever experienced in any film, with a lot of meme and pop culture, sarcasm, and just plain random and referential humor. The film not only kicks ass and is all over the place with its gore and deaths, but it also represents teenage anxiety in the most wholesome and heartwarming way, with drama and problems in the family of Catherine Newton's character and how she acts and behaves with the students in her high school. She learns to overcome this fear of hers when she changes her body to Vince Vaughn's character, and she understands that she's more powerful than she thinks, and that she shouldn't undermine herself to pettiness. This film really has it all. If you just want to be entertained with interesting and bloody kills, or laugh and cringe with the references said by the supporting characters, or just have touchy and wholesome moments with everyone involved, you should definitely watch this over-the-top teen slasher comedy right now. A lot of us are terrified of noises that we hear throughout our house that we don't know or understand where it's coming from. And even maybe many of us will think that the house is purely haunted and there are paranormal events happening around it. Now, imagine if after investigating you discover where these noises are coming from and you really wish that you hadn't known. Well, at number 4 with Housebound, we have a premise very close to this. As our main character, after committing a crime in New Zealand, the court makes her stay during 8 months at her mom's house at house arrest. And soon she starts experiencing some bizarre and unexplainable events that she deems to be paranormal. And all of this is shown and displayed with the funniest humor ever created in a premise of a haunted house movie. The way our characters interact with each other, especially our protagonist with our mom, are just very sarcastic and stupidly funny. And also the clumsiness of our electronic bracelet patrol officer who is investigating with her the paranormal happenings, the backstory and the lore of her house, and even the reasonings why the spirits would be terrorizing them. All of this basic and overdone premise emphasizes the humor, as we find that the noises are what they seem and the true danger doesn't come from them, as later in the film we are introduced to two plot twists that reveal everything our main character and our patrol officer were trying to discover. And what we find will make us become more skeptical to when we decide to buy or rent a new house, for how disturbing and kinda remotely funny that last reveal really was. This is once again a movie that takes a premise that not only is basic but also overdone, so it makes humor around it by putting out the many tropes in Cabin in the Woods horror movies and making it clever and funny. Tucker and Dale deserve number 3 since we really never saw something like this happen, as because of the coincidental deaths of these very dumb and idiotic teenage college kids, it makes both Tucker and Dale seem like they are the killers, for their unfortunately hillbilly looks and their mysterious house that they possess in the middle of the woods. This movie really makes us understand that appearances are not what they seem at first, and not to make assumptions, as because Tucker and Dale were weird and different at first, they got the title instantly of being killers and kidnappers, even though they were only trying to be good people to everyone around them. And the fact that they had to protect themselves from this group of friends without harming them makes us feel even more worried and connected to Tucker and Dale, as even if they're trying to do good deeds, they're never going to appear as good people in society for the way they look. A very wholesome and truly important film that will not only make us laugh, but reflect upon society as a whole. Now to the most different film in this countdown, a Norwegian found footage horror comedy about the mythology of trolls who inhabit Norway in its shadows. Trollhunter introduces us to this crew of youngsters who are making a documentary about trolls, which they think it's only a myth and a legend, but soon they discover a hunter who works for the government that hunts trolls. So the people in Norway never find the truth behind this myth, since the crew goes along with this hunter to document the process of capturing a troll and destroying it from the earth. This film uses humor to represent absurdity and the silliness of capturing trolls that need to be hidden from society, with the way our hunter explains the lore behind it all to the crew, from the beginning of mankind to present day, where politicians need to hire hunters to take care of this necessary business. The CGI trolls shown throughout the film work surprisingly, not because they look real, but because they fit perfectly in this movie. This was never about making a serious and profound film about trolls, but rather tell a Norwegian tale through sarcastic and silly humor. The last part of the film has to be my favorite, when they go capture the biggest troll they've ever encountered, so they all cooperate to make it disappear. And through its found footage film style, we feel as we are in the snow landscape with them, and so we cheer on as soon as they accomplish that said mission. Truly watch this very underrated comedy gem, not only to learn more about Norwegian mythology and its landscapes, but also about the urban legends and folktales of trolls. We are ending this countdown with the obvious pick. The most referenced movie in horror and maybe ever, and also the film I've probably watched the most. Yes, at number 1 we have the one and only Scary Movie. How can a film that mixed the plots of Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer work so perfectly? How can a film that had the exact same structure of both of these films and not feel copied or cheap? And how can a film have the most stupid and over-the-top humor and not feel cringe? Well, all of these questions can be answered very easily with its characters. The people make the film be what it is, a parody of teen slashers. Every character in Scary Movie has his own personality, and not only that, but they are relatable and memorable, and that's what it made it be so loved by everyone. To this day, everyone still talks about this movie. Either it be with memes or just analysis videos praising this film, and this aging has worked because the characters are funny in their own way. And not only that, but the way they mock the tropes of these films works just fine, as they're represented the same way as the originals, but with its own characters, and the way they would react and interact if these events would have happened to them. I will always admit that the plot twist in Scary Movie was actually impressive, and the way the jokes still land is not only incredible but remarkable. Doofy, for me, will always carry on as the original character in Scream instead of Dewey, for how unforgettable and just timeless his presence and personality was in Scary Movie. So this film will remain a classic for the future years to come, and its comedy will continue to work until we are all evaporated from this earth. That's how much I praise this film. So with all being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I had a blast making this countdown because horror comedy is really my shtick. I love the blend of these two genres and it works just fine. And it's always fun and entertaining to watch a horror comedy with friends or alone. So again, thank you for watching guys, and see you next time. Goodbye.